The prospect of Cardinal Pietro Parolin ascending to the papacy is a tantalizing one for many observers. As the Vatican's Secretary of State and one of the most influential figures in the Catholic Church, his credentials seem impeccable. A man of diplomacy, intellect, and vast international experience, Parolin appears to embody the qualities needed to guide the Church through a turbulent era. Yet, despite his impressive resume, there are compelling reasons why Parolin may not be chosen as the next pope. Let's explore the intricate dynamics of the Catholic Church, the challenges Parolin faces, and the obstacles that might prevent him from claiming the papal throne. 1. The shadow of diplomacy, a double-edged sword. Cardinal Parolin is widely recognized as a master diplomat, a skill honed during decades in the Vatican's diplomatic corps. From brokering sensitive agreements in volatile regions to maintaining delicate relationships with world powers, Parolin has excelled as a bridge builder. However, diplomacy, while crucial, is not the only or even primary quality sought in a pope. Some within the Church view his diplomatic prowess with suspicion, perceiving it as overly pragmatic. Critics argue that his reliance on negotiation and compromise could dilute the Church's moral authority in areas where clear doctrinal stances are required. For example, the Vatican's controversial agreement with China on the appointment of bishops has drawn criticism from Catholics worldwide. While the deal aimed to foster unity between the Chinese government and the underground Catholic Church, many feel it conceded too much to a regime notorious for religious persecution. Parolin's role in shaping this agreement has left a lasting mark on his reputation, with detractors labeling him as too willing to compromise on matters of faith for the sake of political expediency. 2. The perception of being too Vatican. Parolin's long tenure within the Vatican bureaucracy, culminating in his role as Secretary of State, has made him a quintessential insider. While this positions him as a candidate with deep institutional knowledge, it also ties him closely to the Church's entrenched power structures. Many cardinals and Catholics are yearning for a pope who can bring a fresh perspective and address the challenges of a modern, globalized world. The perception that Parolin is too Vatican may work against him, especially in an era when the Church faces mounting calls for reform, transparency, and accountability. The Francis factor, a polarizing legacy. As a close collaborator of Pope Francis, Parolin is often seen as a continuation of the current pontiff's vision. While this alignment may endear him to Francis loyalists, it could alienate those within the College of Cardinals who desire a departure from the current trajectory. Pope Francis' papacy has been transformative, but also polarizing. His emphasis on inclusivity, environmental stewardship, and dialogue has sparked both admiration and resistance. Cardinals from more conservative factions may view Parolin as an extension of policies they see as divisive or misaligned with traditional Catholic teachings. If the College of Cardinals is seeking a candidate who represents a clean break from the Francis era, Parolin's close association with the current pontiff could hinder his chances. The question of charisma and global appeal. A pope is not only a spiritual leader, but also a global figurehead. Charisma, the ability to inspire and connect with people from all walks of life, plays a critical role in papal effectiveness. While Parolin is undoubtedly respected for his intellect and professionalism, critics argue that he lacks the dynamic personality and emotional resonance of leaders like Pope John Paul II or Pope Francis. His reserved demeanor and methodical approach, while effective in diplomatic circles, may not translate into the kind of public appeal that energizes the faithful and draws new believers to the Church. In an age of social media and instant communication, a pope who can captivate and inspire on a global stage is more important than ever. Parolin's understated style might struggle to meet this demand. Balancing tradition and modernity. Parolin's approach to balancing the Church's traditions with the demands of modernity is another area of contention. While he has shown a willingness to engage with contemporary issues such as climate change, migration, and interfaith dialogue, critics question whether his pragmatic approach risks sidelining the Church's doctrinal integrity. Some factions within the Church fear that under Parolin's leadership, the Vatican might prioritize diplomacy and modernization at the expense of upholding its theological foundations. This perceived ambivalence could alienate conservative cardinals who are looking for a pope firmly rooted in the church's traditional teachings. Regional representation and the global church. The geographical origins of the next pope are likely to play a significant role in the election. After centuries of European dominance, the church's leadership under Pope Francis has shifted its focus toward the global south, where Catholicism is growing most rapidly. As an Italian cardinal, Parolin represents a return to the European stronghold of the papacy. However, with Catholicism flourishing in regions like Africa, Asia, and Latin America, there is strong momentum for electing a non-European pope who reflects the church's global diversity. Parolin's candidacy may face resistance from cardinals eager to break from the Eurocentric traditions of the past and embrace a leader who represents the dynamic growth of the faith in the developing world. The internal politics of the conclave. The papal conclave is as much about spiritual discernment as it is about politics. Alliances, rivalries, and ideological divides among the cardinals often shape the outcome. While Parolin's status as a Vatican insider and trusted diplomat gives him a solid base of support, it may also make him a polarizing figure. Cardinals wary of centralizing power within the Vatican hierarchy might rally behind alternative candidates who offer a more pastoral or missionary approach. Furthermore, Parolin's prominence could work against him. In conclaves, frontrunners are often scrutinized intensely and their weaknesses magnified. The so-called favorite rarely emerges victorious, as the cardinals often coalesce around a compromise candidate during the later stages of voting. Conclusion: a complicated path to the papacy. Cardinal Pietro Parolin is undeniably one of the most accomplished and respected figures in the Catholic Church today. His diplomatic skills, intellectual depth, and global experience make him a formidable candidate. However, the very qualities that define his career may also be his greatest obstacles. The Catholic Church is at a crossroads, grappling with internal divisions, external challenges, and the need for a leader who can navigate a rapidly changing world. Whether the cardinals will see Parolin as the right man for this moment, or whether they will look elsewhere for a fresh vision, remains to be seen. What do you think? Does Cardinal Parolin have what it takes to lead the Church, or are his perceived weaknesses too significant to overcome? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on this monumental election. Background music. Thoughtful, reflective, and slightly dramatic tones to match the weight of this discussion.